Greetings, everyone. I am Dr. Wolf, and I just saw Equestria Girls Sunset's Backstage Pass. And yeah, it was actually more fun than I was expecting. When I had first heard that this movie is going to be somewhat based on a Groundhog Day scenario where a person is reliving the same day over and over and over, I was quite intrigued. Honestly, I was really hoping that Sunset would be going through many of the same steps that Bill Murray did. It starts off being confused and not knowing what to do, and then finally realizing, well, if I'm living the same day over and over, I'm kind of free from any consequences for my actions, so might as well do what I want. And eventually leading into, how am I going to get out of this? Trying to flee every which direction. Although in Groundhog Day, it's a fair bit darker in exactly how Bill Murray is trying to get out of it. And then finally, reaching a point where you forget about yourself and focus on the needs of others. And in both cases, it turned out rather nicely. I am glad that we got a story like this, even though, yeah, I have seen this before. It's just, Groundhog Day is one of my personal favorite movies because of how much better a person Bill Murray becomes through his own motivations, through a very natural set of steps of being completely selfish and then becoming completely selfless. I really like that. And seeing Sunset go through those same steps, it's a good character arc for her. It really is. But let's start from the beginning. First off, Sunset and Pinkie Pie are a bit of a duo in this movie that we haven't really seen before, but it's really effective because they are excited to see Post Crush. And it's a musical duo that even their early songs that you could hear from way off in the distance when Sunset and Pinkie are kicked out, oh, they're sharing a lot of similarities with Sunset and Pinkie. One being more serious and one being more of a goofball. I was hoping to see more of that dynamic between this post-crush characters and maybe Sunset and Pinkie Pie seeing, well, we understand what the problem is by looking at what they're doing to each other. It didn't quite reach that level, but it's a fair setup anyways. And in the initial stages, when Pinkie Pie is trying to guess how many candy pieces there are in a jar to try and get a tandem bike, and then going through a really pretty neon garden maze. I would have loved to see something like that in real life. Those are fun. And going through some free art, and then eventually reaching the point where churros, out of all the things they could use, it's churros that are consistently causing the biggest problem of reaching this concert. I mean, who would have seen that coming? And here I thought it was just gonna be a joke that they keep revisiting over and over. And then when they finally get them and realize, oh my goodness, these are the hardest things I've ever had. And it turns out, wait a second, are they gonna be using that as a crowbar to try to get back into the festival? And then eventually using it as a boomerang to get the plot device and finally destroying it? Oh my goodness, the twists and turns in this story. There are a number of things that I thought, oh my goodness, this is overwhelmingly predictable. I hope that there's some good jokes along the way. To, oh my goodness, I had no idea that was coming. That was a rather effective bait and switch. Especially with the return of the Dazzlings? I mean, who would have thought we'd see any of the sirens again? Holy cow. And yes, I did notice the taco on Sonata's shirt. Fun little bit of fan service there, I'm sure. At any rate, the moment the Dazzlings are seen on stage, and Sunset and the rest of the main seven are like, oh my goodness, they have to be the ones behind this. Of course they were the villains before, easily the best villains in all of the Equestria Girls films. And yeah, if they're coming back, it's gotta be for something big, right? Actually, no. They are trying to make their own living without the use of their magic, without trying to have any nefarious schemes. They're just trying to get through day by day and living with the mistakes they've made. And making the best of it anyways. That really threw me for a loop. The fact that the Dazzlings are the ones teaching Sunset the lesson. Who would have seen that coming? Holy cow. And it leads into much more of a lesson with Post Crush themselves. The whole reason that they were behind everything, and yeah, that's actually really effective too, is because anything, any little thing that goes wrong, they feel like they have to fix. They feel like they have to do the whole day over until they have everything just perfect. I like that lesson. I really, really like how they portrayed everything in here. Unlike with Groundhog Day, where there really is no explanation as to why this is happening over and over, in Backstage Pass, it's all about two girls who are so obsessed on what they think needs to be absolutely perfect in order to have their fans love them. They're the whole reason that everything keeps getting reset. There is much more of a motivation behind this whole magical occurrence that has Sunset going out of her mind for, 3 weeks, was it? That's not even close to what Bill Murray went through, by the way. At any rate, I deeply appreciate that resetting the day over and over is leading to an especially effective lesson. And portraying it in a way that both kids and adults can relate to and really understand. It's something that they can come back to if they so want, and still get a genuinely worthwhile lesson out of. I don't know whether this is the very last Equestria Girls anything that is going to be released. I mean, I know that DHX has completely stopped any kind of work on Equestria Girls. I have no idea if any other studio is going to be taking on the series for anything. We haven't heard any news like that. But if this is the very last outing for Equestria Girls, whether in specials or shorts or whatever, I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with a Sunset Shimmer focused story where it's all about putting aside her own needs and focusing on what someone else needs. In this case, Pinkie Pie. And I appreciate that Pinkie Pie, in return, even though she's not part of this time loop over and over, she's going out of her way to make sure that Sunset is having a great time. And yeah, I like the little moments early on when Sunset is actually going out on her own and trying to see this concert and trying to get everything she wants. Pinkie loses so much of what makes her fun, and she goes back to her Pinkamena side, even though there isn't any flat hair in this circumstance, but she makes her own Sunset Shimmer life-size doll and say, oh, the real Sunset Shimmer had a great time. Yeah, isn't that right? I wish we could have had a couple more minutes of that, because Pinkie unhinged can be entertaining at times, but for that little quick moment, it was more than enough to give me a great laugh. The rest of the main 7 really don't have much to do here. But much like with other Equestria Girls specials, it's okay if you're focusing on just 1 or 2 at a time. It's okay, because as long as the story is really well put together, and the lesson is especially memorable and even relatable, and yeah, there's plenty of really funny jokes along the way, I'm okay with that. I didn't expect to see the Dazzlings return. Even less so, I didn't expect that the Dazzlings had nothing to do with this magical MacGuffin. And yeah, the way that everything came together with Post Crush in the end, that they're trying to see them this whole time, and they're the ones behind the whole time loop to begin with, there are lots of twists and turns, effective bait and switch moments. It works. It really works. I don't know if there is anything more that Equestria Girls is going to be bringing us, but I think it did end on a pretty good high note. Not the greatest music, not the most focus on all the characters we love, and yeah, the villains weren't as memorable as, say, the Dazzlings are, but I still like it. I still had a lot of fun with it. And honestly, I'm still looking forward to what the rest of Season 9 MLP has to bring for us. In the meantime, though, I would like to hear each of your thoughts. Have you ever seen the Groundhog Day movie, and how does it compare to what Sunset's Backstage Pass is trying to accomplish? Do you believe that there was enough time put on Sunset and Pinky having conflicts with each other and eventually coming together at the end? And did you expect the Dazzlings to be a part of any of this? And for anyone who has never seen Groundhog Day and has enjoyed this special, give it a watch. I think that you will actually find a lot more to enjoy with the darker moments and even the much more genuinely emotional moments that Groundhog Day brings. Plus, it's still hilarious to watch. Until next time, I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.